Well, let's delve into the power sector, where about 75% of electricity consumed in Nigeria comes from diesel and petrol power generators. About 25% megawatts of power utilized in Nigeria was from diesel and petrol powered generators, while national electricity grid only supplied less than 5,000 megawatts. Speaking on some of the measures, the President's Society for Planet and Prosperity, Professor Chukwumerije Okereke, said number one measure is to increase the generation of electricity both on-grid and off-grid. Nigeria currently generates about 5,000 megawatts for a population of over 200 million people. Okereke said investing in on-grid and off-grid power was a critical requirement to not just solve the problem of climate change, but to stimulate the economy. Now, to analyze this with us is Olusegun Okwade, Chairman, Ikeja District Society of ICANN. Thank you for joining us. How does this news come to you? 75% of electricity consumed in Nigeria comes from diesel and petrol-powered generators.
Yeah, good morning, Bolande, and good morning to all our viewers this morning. Let me first say, thank God it's Friday, irrespective of what the news we have to analyze. So, going back to your question, it's for real that the generation arm of electricity is nothing to talk about in terms of our population. Like you read in your prologue, as we speak, we are not, we are generating over 8,000, but we cannot transmit more than 5,000. Maybe before I go down to break down that analysis, the power sector is broken down into three: the generation arm, the transmission arm, and the distribution arm. So as we speak, we know this administration has been able to up the game for about 5,000 megawatt, the making to about 8,000 megawatt. But the transmission could not wield more than 4,000, 4,500 to the distribution, which you and I belong to. So the administration has concentrated more in the transmission arm of one of the levels of the power sector. But be it that it may, some of us have had concern that if the current generation is being optimally utilized, there is still problem with the distribution arm of the sector. And these are a few things that we felt are the problem. Number one, metering. Metering takes care of the energy losses on the part of the DISCO, and we discovered that the DISCO have not accurately metered majority of the customer to accurately correct their bill, and that is actually leading to what we call the ATC, that is the technical and commercial losses. A lot of tampering, a lot of bypasses are happening because there are no proper monitoring, even of the current ones that have actually been metered. And that's another bottleneck. So even if we are able to wield the 8,000 which the current administration is working to improve from the 4,000 that we currently share, we discover that distribution that will satisfy you and I will definitely be there will be a spanner. So some of the infrastructure that is being used by the distribution company that the common man like you and I and the business can benefit from.
All right, you have touched on some bottlenecks. But before you go on, Sheson Okwade, before you go on, we have to take a quick breather. We'll be back to continue the conversation in that direction. Please stay with us. Still focusing on the report that says that 75% of electricity consumed in Nigeria is from generators, diesel-powered generators in Nigeria. And Olusegun Okwade, Chairman, Ikeja District Society of ICANN, is still with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, you have been talking about all of the challenges facing Nigeria's power sector, a sector that has the capacity to generate about 12,000 megawatts of electricity for over 200 million people, where a neighboring country like South Africa is generating about 40,000 megawatts for about 60 million people in its population. Let's talk about viable options to explore the potential for growth in Nigeria's power sector as we wrap up. Mr. Okwade, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Okwade? Okay, some issues there. But of course, these are some of the challenges faced by the Nigeria's power sector, and these issues have been reiterated time after time after time, and one would hope that the relevant stakeholders, the federal government, and of course those who have the know-how would look into all of these issues and deal with them as appropriate. Can you hear me, Mr. Olusegun, as we wrap up?
Yeah, I can hear you. So let me just wrap it up by saying that the major stakeholder, right from the generation to the transmission and the distribution, should try as much as possible, giving their best. We know that we've privatized the generation aspect, and that's why we've been able to improve from 5,000 megawatt to 8,000. We expect more improvement, at least to scale up to 15,000. And the distribution arm that has also been privatized, let's see how more we can invest in making sure that the current infrastructure we have is improved upon. Truth be told, that if we start giving 24-hour supply, the current infrastructure in the distribution arm of the power value chain will definitely not be able to accommodate and give what is expected to the populace. So we enjoin the stakeholders to giving their best in making sure that infrastructure upon which this power relies on have a top-notch, and finally customers at the end result are able to have what they will be able to use to measure what they use, what they consume, and have confidence that they are paying the right thing. Otherwise, we may not have the best that is expected in the sector. Don't forget, once you're able to get the power sector right, our economy will take the quantum leap that is expected to hit among the high-class economy in the world.
Okay, that's a good place to leave it. Thank you so much for your time. Olusegun Okwade, Chairman, Ikeja District Society of ICANN.
My pleasure to be with you always, and the best of the day to all our viewers.